Governor Malloy urging people to take time to prepare just in case over the next couple of days for the possibility of what happens here, especially on the shoreline. The State Division of Emergency Management is participating now with frequent conference calls with the National Weather Service, keeping an eye on this thing. Our Chief Capitol Correspondent Mark Davis is live tonight with more. Mark?
Hi, Darren. Good evening, everyone from the Hartford newsroom. If you lived here for a while, you know that the state was not really very well prepared for the big storms that hit here 3 and 4 years ago. But things have changed.
For the past 3 years, cutting back the trees 30 feet from the parkway has been underway to make sure that falling trees will be less likely to harm motorists and cause roadway shutdowns, as occurred several times in the early part of the decade during the October 2011 snowstorm and Storm Sandy in 2012. A crew member doing work here in Milford today told us they have encountered a lot of large rotting trees close to the roadway. It was routinely done until about 30 years ago when it was stopped to save money. Governor Malloy has committed to it again.
It was controversial. I think now people see the wisdom of it as we've moved it along. And I think what's going to be important is that Connecticut sustain that in the future.
Also new since the big storms early in the decade, all of the gas station rest stops on the parkway have been rebuilt and all have full generator backup power, which means even if there's widespread power outages, you can still buy gas, which was a big problem following the storms of 2011 and 12.
I think people, for planning purposes, should assume 5 to 8 inches of rain fall during the course of our interaction based on the current projections.
The governor's office says they will likely make a decision on whether or not to open the State Emergency Operations Center late tomorrow or tomorrow night, as the forecast for southern New England becomes better defined.
And those folks along streams and rivers and Long Island Sound need to take appropriate precautions, assuming a very strong nor'easter or tropical storm.
And the governor's office says they don't want to rush to open the Office of Emergency Management unless there is really surely a real threat, because opening it up and television stations like ours covering it can have an adverse effect on business, especially restaurants that rely very heavily on Friday night and Saturday night. Live from the Hartford newsroom, Mark Davis, News 8.